Good morning, good day, and good evening. My name is Sam Hussain, Director of BLS Global. We are marketing experts for investment immigration and provide free content for investors and families to migrate to the desired countries. Today is our second webinar with Swallow Immigration Consultancy. We have viewers globally, and our team have received a number of questions prior to this webinar, and I'm pleased to say the wait is over. Firstly, thank you all for taking your time and being here today. We will be running a live Q&A at the end of this webinar, so we have enabled our Ask a Question feature. It's at the bottom of your screen in the auditorium. So if you have any questions, just pop them in there during the presentation, type them in. Don't worry, Swallow Immigration Consultancy will be sending around the on-demand recording when it's available. And also a member of Swallow Immigration will be in touch to answer a number of your questions to give you that personal customer service. For those who have missed the first webinar, Swallow Immigration Consultancy also serves as the official agent working closely with the University of New Brunswick to help recruit international students and collaborate with the university as an advisor to international students. Today's webinar is From Studying in New Brunswick to Canadian Permanent Residency. Firstly, you will hear from Stephanie Lord, who holds 3 degrees from the University of New Brunswick. Stephanie has been working for the University of New Brunswick since 2011. Stephanie has spent 6 of her 9 years with the university at the International Recruitment Center, working extensively across North, Central, South America, the Caribbean, and Southeast Asia market. You also will hear from Nousheen Pourjahani, a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and one of the founders of Swallow Immigration Consultancy. She consults and provides accurate and documented information to applicants who are interested to immigrate to Canada. With comprehensive knowledge and information about immigration laws and programs, Nousheen is honored to be able to always recommend the best and most suitable plan of action for her clients. You will also hear from Chris Beardsworth. After working for 10 years in international education overseas in a number of countries with the British Council, Chris returned to his home province to work with the University of New Brunswick, appointed as the Director of International Recruitment Center in 2013. Chris has worked with the university and other stakeholders in the province to develop robust, sustainable international recruitment plans to grow the university's enrollment and prioritize immigration to New Brunswick. 7 years on, the University of New Brunswick has hosted international students from more than 100 different countries around the world. And 13% of the university students' population are now made up of international students. Chris is very passionate about New Brunswick and the numerous opportunities available for students and prospective immigrants in the province. Without further ado, Stephanie will start the presentation. Thank you all.
Greetings from Canada and the province of New Brunswick. My name is Stephanie Lord, and I am the International Student Recruitment Officer for the University of New Brunswick. Today, I'll be talking with you to discuss more about the opportunities that we have here at UNB.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us by attending this webinar. My name is Nousheen Pourjahani, a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. Our firm, Swallow Immigration Consultancy, is one of the designated companies selected by the government of New Brunswick for entrepreneur program. Also, our firm is one of the agents working closely with University of New Brunswick to recruit international students and helping them to go through the PR. I mean, the international student, we will help international students to go through the PR process and get the permanent residency. Today I'm going to go over several immigration programs that New Brunswick is offering to skilled people and graduate students. We will try to explain about different programs. And at the end of the presentation, we will try to answer your questions as much as we can. And now I would like to ask Chris to have his greeting. Thank you.
Yeah, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Chris Beardsworth, and I'm the director of the International Recruitment Center here at the University of New Brunswick. Just to give you a little bit of background information on the University of New Brunswick, UNB is Canada's oldest English language university. We've been actively recruiting international students now for nearly 30 years. To date, almost 15% of our student population is made up of international students, and those students arrive from over 100 different countries. That means that the learning environment here at UNB is exceptionally diverse with students from all over the world, and it's a great opportunity for you not only to receive a top-notch education at a Canadian university, but to have the ability to interact with students from all over the planet.
Hello again, and as mentioned, I will be providing you with an overview of the University of New Brunswick. UNB is Canada's first English-speaking university, founded in 1785. We have an exceptionally long history in academic excellence, as well as heritage and tradition.
We are one of North America's great institutions. We are one of Canada's first. Many shared our dream of establishing an institution that would one day be accessible to all. We prevailed. There's a reason we're thriving 230 years later. Because this place is special, unique. We take care of each other. We push each other to be our best, to be the best. We don't shy away from a challenge, we march towards it. Some say it's because we're Maritimers. We say it's who we are. We strive for excellence, knowledge, creativity, and change. We don't settle, and we certainly don't give up. We know who we are and where we come from, and we know where we're going. It's time the rest of the world does too. Today we move forward with energy, pride, and passion. If we are to succeed, we must do so together. We are one university, strengthened by the diversity of our programs, our people, and our campuses. Strong, proud, bold. With the momentum of our 230-year legacy behind us, we are UNB.
And that is a very quick overview of both of our campuses here at the University of New Brunswick. When I speak to the University of New Brunswick, I like to talk about a couple of numbers. First, as mentioned, we are home to Canada's very first English-speaking university. We are also home to some of Canada's very first program offerings. UNB houses some of Canada's very first engineering offerings, Canada's very first computer science program, the very first forestry program, as well as some of the first online offerings. Two, UNB has two very distinct campuses. Our larger campus is located in the provincial capital of Fredericton, New Brunswick, housing approximately 8,000 students. And our smaller campus is 1 hour away in the city of St. John with approximately 2,000 students. I mentioned we're a comprehensive university, so what does that mean? It means that we offer all three levels of studies directly out of high school. We offer our undergraduate studies. For those interested in pursuing their education, we offer master's degree programs as well as PhD offerings. We are consistently ranked amongst Canada's very top comprehensive universities. At the undergraduate level, we are home to over 75 different program offerings. Annually, we award over $8.9 million in academic scholarships. And it is very important to note that at the University of New Brunswick, unlike other institutions, as an international student, you are treated the exact same in terms of scholarship monies, meaning that you have the exact same access as a Canadian student would. And finally, what we are best known for and what really sets us apart in terms of Canadian post-secondary education abilities is our 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So we are a small to mid-sized institution housing a significant amount of research, but still have the ability to offer an average class size of first and second year of 31 students and a very personalized education. Our first campus is located in the city of Fredericton, the provincial capital. Now, Canada has only a couple large cities and the vast majority are significantly smaller. So despite being a provincial capital, Fredericton is home to approximately 100,000 in the greater populace. As it is the provincial capital, anything in terms of arts, culture, sports, music is readily available either on our campuses or a walk from. Because the university is actually older than the city itself, the city has literally developed around us. So from the bottom of our campus, you'll find this, our downtown, where you'll find all the shops, the bistros, the nightlife, the water that separates the city. And from the top of our campus, it's a 20-minute walk uptown to the larger shopping centers, the cinemas, and other sources of entertainment. Our next campus is located in St. John, New Brunswick. Located 1 hour away from our Fredericton campus and significantly smaller in size with 2,000 students, the city of St. John is one of Canada's largest ports. We welcome over 100 cruise ships annually to this port. As well, it's a huge driver in terms of maritime business coming in for the sea. The campus, unlike Fredericton, is slightly further away from what we call our uptown core, but still very closely connected by public transit. The city of St. John is slightly larger than that of Fredericton, with around 120,000 people in the greater St. John area. When we look at current drivers to why students are choosing UNB from all over the world, I mean, we understand that there's a lot of great opportunities for Canadian education, but particularly at UNB, the 3 points that we really strive for are the experiential learning opportunities that we provide, employment abilities for our students and new graduates, and most importantly, immigration opportunities, of which we will speak further to later on in this presentation. In terms of program offerings, I did mention that we offer over 75 different program options at the undergraduate level. To the left, you'll find our 14 different faculties and what is available on either our Fredericton campus or our St. John campus. You'll note that there are far more programs available on our Fredericton campus simply because of its size. In terms of our Faculty of Arts, when we speak of arts, we mean predominantly liberal arts, so everything from sociology, anthropology, psychology, a lot of the humanities, as well as languages, with over 1,000 different course offerings. We also have a very unique applied arts program, which is in conjunction with the New Brunswick College of Craft and Design. In our Faculty of Business, as well as our Faculty of Management on either our St. John or Fredericton campus, this program is exceptionally well known for its personalized approach. Students in this faculty in second year and beyond typically do not have classes on Friday because it is an exceptionally hands-on course. Friday is largely spent for our students to work on presentations, as well they are heavily promoted to seek part-time employment at the same time as their degree. We're really focused on ensuring that our business students after 4 years are not only graduating with a solid academic backing, but also that they're highly employable. Embedded in this program is also excellent co-op options. I mentioned that UNB is home to Canada's first computer science faculty. Within the Faculty of Computer Science, we are exceptionally known for our cybersecurity. A couple of years ago, it was the Government of Canada that promoted UNB to become house of the Canadian Cybersecurity Institute, and that we are very proud of. Again, a very strong co-op option, and because of our age and history in this specific program, these placements aren't only in our part of Canada, but they are all over the world as well. Education is offered on both of our campuses, as is engineering, and again, one of the first in terms of Canadian program offerings. We offer 6 core disciplines, all of which co-op is embedded in, and again, very much focused on those small class sizes. As you could tell from that video, particularly of our Fredericton campus, that the province of New Brunswick is exceptionally green and very eco-friendly. We are an excellent area to study forestry and environmental management. For students who are seeking immediate employment, this is a fantastic field. Right now, our Faculty of Forestry is simply not producing the graduates needed for the industry. So it's an excellent opportunity for a student who's interested in the sciences, but is looking for a more hands-on in the field approach. It's an excellent faculty for that. UNB's Faculty of Kinesiology and Recreation of Sports Studies is exceptionally hands-on. Of course, kinesiology being the study of human kinetics, an excellent driver for anyone interested in later pursuing medical school, or perhaps anything to do with the human body, from being a personal trainer to a chiropodist, chiropractics, anything to do with the human body. UNB is also home to one of North America's oldest law schools. We are known as the Great Small Law School, with a great history and a small incoming annual class. UNB's Bachelor of Nursing is housed on both of our campuses, and unlike other Canadian institutions, is open to all international students, meaning we do not have a set amount of seats for Canadian versus international students, so all applicants are treated the exact same in terms of admissions. On our UNB St. John campus, we are launching our new Bachelor of Health this year, which is a really exciting program for students interested in becoming involved in the health field, particularly in terms of a policy aspect. We also have a very unique leadership program housed on our Fredericton campus called Renaissance College, an accelerated 3-year program, which is a great driver to anyone interested in pursuing graduate school at either medical or law, pursuing education, or perhaps just simply working in the political sector or nonprofit. And finally, our sciences. Science is housed on both of our campuses. The University of New Brunswick houses over 70% of all public research happening in the province of New Brunswick. So directly out of high school, our students have excellent access to research, whether it's through part-time work, work study, or again, great co-op opportunities. In terms of tuition and residence fees, because of the fee structure in Canada, our universities are heavily supported by our provincial governments. Because we are the University of New Brunswick, of course, in the province of New Brunswick, it means that we receive significant funding from the government directly. As a result, we are happy to offer some of North America's lowest international tuition fees. So in terms of tuition fees in Canadian dollars, they range from $16,655 to $17,669. The largest difference would be, of course, ranging between a variety of programs. Something like a Bachelor of Arts, for example, is on the lower spectrum, as it doesn't require any really additional resources, as opposed to something like the Bachelor of Engineering or Computer Science, which does require significant lab. In terms of residence, both of our campuses are housed in cities that have been ranked the top 10 affordable housing areas in Canada, which we're very happy to offer. Residence on campus ranges from $9,326 to $10,978. Again, that difference would be from a traditional first-year residence, where it would be a shared dormitory, to our larger apartment-style residences. Overall, this leads UNB's tuition and fees to just over $27,000 Canadian, and of course, that would be before your scholarships. In terms of how we compare to the other top-ranked comprehensive universities, drastically different. So when you look at our tuition and fees compared to others in our category, you'll notice that significant difference, and especially when it comes to our engineering tuition and fees, a very stark difference from some other institutions. When we look at scholarships, last year we awarded $8.9 million. This number will be increasing for our fall 2021 intake to $9.3 million, and the following year up to over $11 million. We've just finished a massive scholarship campaign. Our scholarships range between $500 to $32,000 and everywhere in between, predominantly based on academics, but additionally awarded for financial need and merit. March 1st is our annual application deadline, which is very important to keep in mind. So whether you are planning to start in our larger fall intake, which is a September start, or our smaller winter intake, which is a January start, all applications are ideally in prior to March 1st. The majority of scholarships are also awarded on a renewable basis. So upon entry, if you are awarded with an academic scholarship, as long as those grades are upheld in your first, second, and third year, those monies will be awarded again and again. Something UNB really focuses on is to ensure that whatever our students need is readily available to them on our campuses. In terms of academic support, each student has access to their academic advisors, an individual in their faculty that is with them for all 4 years of study. They're there to suggest course options to ensure that all of our students are on the right path to graduate, but also that they're finding the courses that are right for them. All of our faculties have excellent peer mentors, upper level students that are readily available and very much involved in assisting our new incoming students to ensure they're feeling welcome and know where anything is in the faculty in terms of assistance. We also have lots of great resources on our campuses, such as our Math Help Center and Writing Help Center, which are readily available to all students. In terms of personal assistance, so on our campuses, we offer excellent counseling and mental health services. We have a great accessibility center for anyone incoming with learning challenges. We have readily available nurse practitioners on both of our campuses. And of course, our International Student Advisors Office. So our International Student Advisors Office is located on each of our campuses. Upon entering to UNB, we offer an excellent airport pickup program. You're then brought directly to campus where you meet your respective International Student Advisors Office, who are there to care for you for the next 4 years. So they are to provide any guidance you need as far as your visa requirements as well. They'll host a variety of different programs and workshops to ensure that you're making the most of your Canadian university experience. Now we know that not everything at university is solely focused on academics. We at UNB are very focused in ensuring that, again, whatever you need to thrive is readily available, but also whatever you need to really focus on your academics. We understand that students need that outlet. So whether that's through our clubs and societies, we offer over 100 different clubs and society options, an excellent student government that represents our constituents at all levels, not only on campus, but also municipally within the cities as well as provincially as well, and lots of great access to information through our campus newspapers as well as peer mentors. I spoke a little bit earlier to our real focus on experiential learning. So we try to ensure that every student has great access to become involved. Again, after 4 years, we want you to graduate with a solid academic backing and a great looking grade point average, but we also want you to be highly employable with an excellent looking resume. If you're choosing to stay in Canada, we really want you to help build that portfolio towards perhaps what would be a PR application. Or if you're interested in returning to your home country or continuing elsewhere, we want to ensure that regardless of what you choose after graduation is leading to immediate employment. UNB has excellent co-op placements, again, not only in our part of Canada, but all over the world. We have excellent part-time internship options so that you can experience your field. Perhaps if you're interested in graduate studies, this really allows our students to kind of hone in on what area they're focused on and ensure that they are indeed choosing the right profession for them. And we do also offer excellent practicums. Work studies, so I mentioned the 15:1 student to faculty ratio. Each of our faculty members are researching in some capacity, and each of our faculty members are hiring our undergraduate students for assistance. In terms of next steps, UNB's application is all online. So through our online application, you are able to apply to 2 different program options for the 125 Canadian application fee. Once this is completed, it's a simple application process where all documents arrive stamped and emailed directly from our agent partners or directly from the institution couriered to our office. Once we have a completed application, we're able to typically assess an applicant within the course of 3 weeks, with the exception of some of our more competitive programs. So for example, Bachelor of Nursing, Bachelor of Computer Science, and Bachelor of Engineering, we hold all applications to the application deadline, at which time we are then assessing all applicants. Traditionally, our applications for the following fall open in October, and as mentioned, our annual scholarship deadline is March 31st, with the vast majority of our programs closing March 31st. And although you're a little far, we do have excellent resources for campus tours so that you can get a better indicator of who we are and really what it is that we do at UNB. This image you're looking at is our UNB St. John campus. As you can see, very closely connected. The buildings are actually all connected by tunnels, so there's no need to go outside, perhaps during the Canadian winter, and a gorgeous location right on the water. Our second campus, this is UNB Fredericton. So you can see the distance between this, the bottom of our campus, and the downtown. There is a city under those trees. We just love them. And this is our campus. So we are consistently ranked one of Canada's prettiest campuses. So we very much like to show it off. We have excellent resources online to offer you the full virtual campus tour experience. There's great ways to connect. So whether it's to us via email, we have excellent WeChat options as well, a fantastic Instagram. If you're kind of interested in what the Canadian university scene looks like, or simply what a Canadian summer looks like, I encourage you to check us out on Instagram today. There's lots of great footage of our gorgeous campuses. As well, we're very active on Twitter, Snapchat. We do a lot of really great student takeovers, so you yourself can get kind of the inside facts from our existing students, as well as Facebook. So we are currently implementing a number of interviews with recent graduates, which are all posted to our Facebook page. So as much as I can attest to the University of New Brunswick, when I was a student, it was a little long way ago. So we'd rather you speak with our current students and hear truly what they're saying about their university experience. Because of course, at the end of the day, I get paid by UNB, but our students are truly the real testament as to what you can expect at UNB. And that is the University of New Brunswick. Again, thank you so very much for listening to us today, and we'll pass it on to Ms. Nousheen to continue.
Thanks, Stephanie, for your great presentation. And now, as I said, I'm going to go over several programs that New Brunswick is offering to skilled people and graduate students. But before I start those programs, I would like to talk about work permit after graduation. You may know that in Canada, if you want to have a work permit, most of the time you have to have a job offer. But one of the case that you don't need to have a job offer, but you can apply for a work permit is being graduated from one of the designated learning institutions like University of New Brunswick. After getting graduated from, for example, UNB, you can apply for post-graduation work permit. You have just 180 days to apply for this work permit after being graduated. And during this time, I mean, at the time that you're going to apply for post-graduation work permit, you have to make sure that you have a legal status in Canada. You have to keep your study permit valid. And if it's not, if it's going to be expired, you have to renew it or change your status as a visitor, or to be able to stay in Canada legally, or you can go back to your home country and apply for a post-graduation work permit and then come back here again. But in order to be eligible for a post-graduation work permit, you have to make sure that the institution that you're going to study in has to be one of the designated institution. Not all institutions can be eligible for the post-graduation work permit. Also, the length of the program is important. The program that you're choosing cannot be less than 8 months. If the program is, for example, 6-month program, you cannot apply for post-graduation work permit. Then the length of the program has to be 8 months and over, more than that. And then you have to be a full-time student during the whole study program, unless the last semester, because sometimes in your last semester, you don't have enough credit or courses to take to make yourself a full-time student. But other than the last semester, the other semesters, you have to be a full-time student. The length of the post-graduation work permit is based on your study program. For example, if your program is 8-month program, you will get an 8-month work permit. If it's a year program, then you will get 1 year work permit. But if the length of the program is 2 years and more, you will get 3 years of work permit. This is a good opportunity for you. By having the work permit, you can apply for a job and then go through some PR programs. Okay, here are 4 programs that I'm going to have a look with you. The first one is Atlantic Pilot Program. Atlantic Pilot Program is a program designed for 4 provinces, which New Brunswick is one of them. For this program, we have 3 categories on this, under this program. The first one is Atlantic International Graduate Program, which is suitable for somebody who is graduated from a designated learning institution, as I said, like University of New Brunswick. And I'm going to talk about this specific program right now. The fact is, if you want to apply for this program, first of all, your employer, you have to have a job offer from an employer who is designated under this program. Designated means there are so many employers here who are looking for skilled people who, and the employers cannot find them here in Canada as a citizen or a permanent resident. Then they can apply to get designated. It means they have to have a permission to be able to hire skilled people from overseas or graduate students. The requirement for this program is you as a graduate student have to be in Canada at least for 16 months during the 2-year program that you are studying. I mean, the minimum requirement is being a student, full-time student in a program that the length of the program is at least 2 years. And in that 2-year program, at least you have to be inside Canada for 16 months. For the level of English, it's so easy because just this program is CLB4, which is something around, for English is something around IELTS 4, which is easy for international students. Also, you have to show that you have enough money when you are applying for this program, at least for a certain time, to show that you can support yourself and your family member. But if you have a work permit and you have a job offer, you even don't need to show that you do have enough money. For this program is for some specific jobs. In Canada, we have different level of jobs that defined by, like we say, NOC code. The code is, the level of actually jobs are 0A, B, C, and D. 0A and B are higher skilled jobs, and C and D are skilled, low skilled jobs. For this program, the job that you're going to have from a designated company should be a full-time, and in one of the level of 0A, B, and C means D cannot be included, and the job offer has to be valid at least for, the job has to be at least for 1 year. I mean, if the employer offers you a 6-month job, it's not eligible for this program. The second program that is New Brunswick's Express Entry program. This is a program that helps, again, employers to find or hire skilled people who cannot find in Canada. And again, graduate students can be good candidate for those employers. For this program, you need to have a certain score. The total score is 100, and if you get 67 out of 100, you can apply for this program. But you have to make sure that you have a profile in Federal Express Entry first, and you need to have job seeker validation code as well. Right now, this program is accepting just applicant or candidates who are living and working in Canada, in New Brunswick. Means again, it's a good opportunity for graduate students here who find a job and they are living and working in Canada, in New Brunswick, and they can apply for this specific program. The age has to be between 22 to 55. The level of English has to be CLB 7. In English, we can say IELTS 6 for all skills. And the fact is you need to show at least 1 year full-time back experience in the last 10 years. It can be from inside Canada or even your home country, as long as you have 1 year experience, full-time experience in the last 10 years and other qualification, you can apply. And this specific program is defined for jobs in level 0A and B. It means it's not defined for low skilled jobs. Next program is New Brunswick Skilled Worker Program. It's a new program and it's very good and useful. Again, it's helping both Canadian employers and skilled people who are here, and it's international graduates to go through this program. The minimum requirement for this program is 60 out of 100. And again, you need to have a certain level of English, which is CLB4. It's so easy. The age range is 19 to 55. Also, you have to have at least 1 year work experience, related work experience in the last 5 years. Remember, if you are an international graduate student, even you don't need to have that 1 year back experience. But definitely you have to be graduated from one of the university in New Brunswick or colleges in New Brunswick. And the good thing is this program covers all level of jobs, including D. But for D, there is some limitation, but I can say most of jobs, high and low skilled, are covered, and you can apply for this program. And the last one is about entrepreneur stream for graduate students. This program is defined for somebody who get graduated from the university or in colleges in New Brunswick, and they want to have their own business. When we say own business, it means you can run your own business or you can buy an existing business. The fact is, if you are planning to run a business, the business should have some requirements. At first, you have to be the owner, 100% owner of the business. You cannot have any shareholders. After running the business for a year, you can apply for this program. I mean, you cannot apply for this program immediately after running the business. After having a business for a year, you can apply for the business for this program. Also, the business should make enough money to give you, as the owner, a certain amount of salary. Also, the business should be able to create a full-time job for a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Also, you have to make sure that you are going to stay at least for 3 years in New Brunswick after having your PR. This is one of the requirements for this program. About the applicant qualification, the age range is 22 to 40. The requirement for the English is CLB 7, which, as I said, is for English is IELTS 6 for each skills. Also, you have to complete a 2 year, at least 2 year program in one of the university in New Brunswick or just community college, New Brunswick Community College. And based on your back experience, you can get more points as well. Now I would explain a specific program that is good for some of you because Canadian government have a contract with some countries, including China, India, Morocco, Pakistan, the Philippines, Senegal, and Vietnam. Well, if any resident of those countries are looking for continue their education in Canada, they can apply for the study permit under a certain program. We say Student Direct Stream, or SDS. With this SDS program, your application for a study permit is going to be, get processed so fast, around 2-3 weeks, and you get the answer very quick. It's important for some of you with limited time. I mean, when you have your admission or acceptance letter, and if you don't have enough time to apply for the study permit in the regular base, then if you are residing in one of those countries, then definitely you can apply through the SDS program, and you can get your study permit faster. But the requirement for this stream is, at first, you have to have your language proficiency result, which most of the time for IELTS is 6, and in some program is more. You have to have a guaranteed investment certificate of $10,000 Canadian. Also, you have to pay 1 year tuition upfront, and submit this document as one of the evidence for your study permit application. The letter of admission is obviously one of the requirements. Also, your transcript has to be submitted with your application. And in this case, again, for this program, you need to do the medical exam up front, and all of those documents have to be submitted with your study permit application. The last thing that I would mention is Sual Immigration Consultancy is going to help you for going through the study program at University of New Brunswick. Our help, our services for all of you to get the admission letter or acceptance letter from the University of New Brunswick is absolutely free. We are here to help you, but with no charge. We want to make sure that you can get admitted by the university and start your program here. And hopefully at the end, you can get your permanent residency here. Now we are going to answer all the questions that you may have. We will try to cover most of the question. In case that we miss any questions or if we don't have enough time to answer all the questions, don't worry. You can email us or contact us and share your question, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can.
Hi everyone, so you've seen the presentations. I guess there's been a lot of questions, and I guess Nousheen and Chris, if you've seen a number of the questions, if you guys want to take the lead, because we've had a lot of inquiries, and with all the marketing, it seems like I want to move to New Brunswick. So let's let the audience find out why you have such an influx and why is there such a huge demand. And I guess how you can facilitate their immigration requirements. So choose some of the questions and please address to the audience.
Sure. If you don't mind, I just want to start with the question that I faced too several times. The question is why New Brunswick? Why we should choose New Brunswick to continue our education? The thing is, there are so many good reasons to come to New Brunswick for your education, starting a new path or continue the education. The first one is University of New Brunswick. UNB is located in New Brunswick. That is the first reason. And New Brunswick is one of the great and top universities in the world in so many measures. That's why we are recommending University of New Brunswick for your future or continue study program. Another one is tuition. Tuition in New Brunswick, University of New Brunswick is so good and fair in compared to so many universities in Canada or North America. And the third reason, good reason, is the cost of living is so good. I mean, it's good for, it's affordable and it's good for students. There are opportunities for students to work and make money, income enough to continue their education here. And the last one is a very good permanent residency program for graduate students. So that's why we are strongly recommend our clients or applicants to come to New Brunswick and continue their education in University of New Brunswick. Chris?
Thank you, Nousheen, and thank you everybody for joining this session. It's certainly a lot of very interesting questions, but like Nousheen, I think that there's a lot that are overlapping. So perhaps I can try to answer a few of them with one foul swoop here. Firstly, regarding admissions to Canadian universities, I think some of our participants here might be a little bit confused about the requirements for IELTS or other types of language testing. Please note that an IELTS score is not something that forms part of our academic assessment. You need to have a language or proof of language in order to study here so that we know that you won't have any issues in the classroom. But an IELTS score on its own is not what we use to grant admissions to students. So if you're a student that is applying, say, from a high school, we would give admissions based on your high school academic average. If you're a student applying from who's already finished a university degree, admissions would be based on your average from your university degree and those transcripts. IELTS is a required test only because we need to ensure that a student has the ability to cope in an English language classroom. For those of you that don't have the ability at this moment to write an IELTS test, that's okay. The university is accepting Duolingo, which is available everywhere in the world. It's an online language test, and we'd be looking for a minimum score of 115 for our undergraduate students and a score of 120 for those of you interested in applying to graduate programs. So I'm just trying to suggest here that they're separated. The language test does not form your admissions. Admissions comes first, and then the language test may need to be provided at a later date. If you can't provide an IELTS test, that's okay. I would highly encourage you to look into the Duolingo test. It's much, much less expensive. And as far as we can tell here at the university, it's just as good. It's of the same standard as a regular written IELTS test. So that's one piece. The second piece is students that are interested in doing graduate studies here in Canada, whether you're interested in UNB or perhaps other universities. Keep in mind that your master's or PhD programs have to fall in line with your undergraduate studies. So for example, if you have an undergraduate degree in biology or an undergraduate degree in chemistry, the logical step for a graduate program would be in biology or chemistry. What you can't do in Canada is do an undergraduate degree in business and then apply for a master's degree in science. They don't match. So you wouldn't have the credit background in order to start a master's program here. The one exception to that in Canada is an MBA program. An MBA acts as a catch-all. So students from any faculty, regardless of what your undergraduate degree was in, you have the ability to apply to an MBA program. UNB, as I've mentioned in some of my answers, has two separate MBA programs. One on our campus in St. John, that's a one-year program. 1 year means 12 months, but it's a 16-month course condensed into a 12-month period. That means if you complete that course and are successful, you would qualify for a 3-year postgraduate work permit based on course hours, not time. The MBA program on our campus in Fredericton is a 2-year MBA program. And of course, completing 2 years of study at the university would qualify you as well for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So if you are a chemist and you're interested in a chemistry program at UNB, just ensure that your background is in chemistry. The last question that I've seen multiple times here is, what is the maximum age for a student to come to UNB? And is it okay if I have a gap between studies and my application at UNB? The answer is, of course, yes, it's okay. And no, there is no maximum age to begin your studies here in Canada. Whether you're 18 or whether you're 80, you have the ability to apply to the university. Any student who has finished an undergraduate degree, taken 10 or 12 or 25 years of work experience, and is now interested in reapplying, that's perfectly fine. But I would encourage you to add a resume to your application package, simply because the admissions team are going to want to know what you've been doing during that period of time. And they're going to be particularly interested in whether or not you've had any extra courses, because any courses that you do take will form part of your permanent academic record. And this would be something that the university would need to see. So the answer is no minimum age, of course. And sure, you can apply at any time in your career. That's the beauty of the Canadian system. We don't have barriers on that type of an application.
Okay, I do have a few questions here as well. One of the question is, can I come to Canada with my whole family? The answer is yes, you can apply for the study permit. Your spouse can apply for an open work permit. Your children can go to school with the study permit. If they are inside Canada, even with the visitor visa, your children can go to school, and the tuition is free for your children up to end of grade 12. Another question is, okay, if you remember, we mentioned most of the program, PR program, one of the requirements is having a job offer from a local employer. The question was if the employers are hiring now because of COVID-19. Yes, they are still hiring skilled people and graduate students. Then they are always looking for good candidates for their job positions. Another question was if post-graduation work permit depends on the GPA. No, for post-graduation work permit, the requirement is not having a good GPA. It's having a full-time legal status in Canada as a full-time student. You have to keep this full-time study in the whole length of the program, unless the last semester, if it's not full-time at the last semester, that's fine, but the other semesters you have to be a full-time student. The length of the program has to be at least 8 months and over. And as we explained, the length of the post-graduation work permit can be from 8 months to 3 years. Another question is, oh yeah, one of you guys asked if my length of the program is 2 years, then my spouse can get a 2-year work permit. Yes, your spouse can get a 2-year work permit. When your study program is finished, then the open work permit for your spouse is finished too. Then if you want to stay in Canada, you have to change your status, or if you are eligible for post-graduation work permit, definitely you have to apply for post-graduation work permit. Your spouse if he or she is working, they have to ask for a work permit, regular work permit, or if not, they have to change their status to a visitor visa and can stay with you. There are some personal questions about some of you asked about their own situations, and probably we should answer them by a kind of email. You can email us your specific question and situation, then we can get back to you and answer, talk about your specific case.
I have a couple more common questions, I think, that I'd like to try to tie up here before we close out. One is about tuition and fees. I would encourage all of you to take a look at the fees page on UNB's website, as fees do vary from program to program. On average, the annual tuition at UNB for undergraduate programs is $18,000, as low as 17, as high as 18. And it's similar for graduate programs, with the exception of MBAs that are more expensive. There's a number of questions here about scholarship opportunity and whether or not the university has the ability to help finance your studies here. The reality is, yes, we do have scholarship programs for all incoming students. However, none of these scholarships would be of an amount that you could use to entirely fund your education. In other words, the highest amount of scholarship possible for undergraduate students is around $4,000. So with tuition at $18,000 and you having to commit to 4 years of that tuition at the study permit process, certainly $4,000 is very helpful, but it's not the kind of money that's going to fund your education while you're here in Canada. So please be mindful of that. The second piece I have very quickly here is a lot of you are asking questions about our delivery format for this coming fall intake. It has been decided here at the University of New Brunswick that the vast majority of our courses for this fall will be available online. We are not open yet in terms of our campuses. We don't have students or faculty or staff members entering the campus yet. We anticipate that we will be able to get back to face-to-face class scenarios in the month of January, in the new year. But for the fall cycle, we want all of our students to be taking their courses online in an online format. There's two positives to that. One, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to get anywhere before September, whether it's coming all the way to Canada or traveling even to another country that's nearby where you may find yourself. The other good thing about that is that IRCC has indicated that students who are studying online will have that time counted towards their postgraduate work permit program. The other nice thing is that you can start studying online without a study permit. You don't need to have the permit to begin your courses, which means that gives you more time. And we've mentioned that some of these offices, of course, are closed. Visa processing centers around the world, are not all open. That means you can get started. You can start taking your credits, make your application for study permit once things open up, and arrive in Canada at a time that things seem to settle down or get a little bit better. So don't hesitate to begin online. I think it's a really good opportunity for students. And even if you start your semester online and at the end of the day, you change your mind and decide that you don't want to carry on or you don't want to continue, you still have Canadian university credits that would be transferable to any institution anywhere in the world. So I think that's a big bonus as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, one more question we have here is, can I work while I'm studying? Yes, you can work when you have a study permit. You are able to work, you are allowed to work 20 hours per week off campus during the academic semester, and you can work full-time during the holidays, like during your summertime or Christmas holidays. You can work full-time. For in-campus, there is no any limitation on hours, but be careful about your off-campus work time. There is a limited time. You can work 20 hours per week during the academic semesters. I guess we covered most of the common questions now. Okay, no, it seems most of the questions are answered. I mean, common questions. If we miss any questions without any answer, or for all of you that have their own questions related to their own situations, please feel free to contact us by email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And as Chris mentioned, this is a very good opportunity for all of you to start your path or continue your education in a University of New Brunswick. even during the COVID-19. If you cannot get your study permit on time for fall, no worries, you can start the program online, and whenever you have the study permit and the permission to come in the country, then you can be in person and attend the classes whenever it's open. Thank you all for being with us and taking your time. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.
I just have one question for Chris and Nousheen. Obviously, everyone's looking at the current pandemic and what kind of supports other governments are doing and how things are functioning. And I guess, you know, people really appreciate the government support that Canada's been doing in comparison to other countries. You know, if I was in a pandemic situation, I'd rather be in Canada than I'd rather be stuck in some place in Southeast Asia, I guess, because there's more measurements and rescue package and support. Like, you know, what kind of response are you getting in comparison to other universities, you know, especially during this pandemic situation?
As a university, keeping in mind here that 95% of the institutions in Canada are public, so our funding is essentially from provincial level government and of course research and other things. So the support has been great. You know, we're still operating, although the campus may not be open for students at this moment. We're still operating. We understand that the response from our federal government and our Prime Minister has been very, very positive. We appreciate the scientific approach to dealing with this type of a virus. I think it's logical. It's the right way to move forward. The Canadian people in general have been very responsive to the suggestions that are coming down from the government. So if the suggestion was a few months ago, please don't leave your home, the vast majority of people in Canada adhere to those regulations. And I think Canadians being Canadians and having a great sense of sort of self-direction and loving thy neighbor and so on, we've done what we can. And I think we've shown to the world that although this is a country that is a hub for international travel and home to you know, close to 600,000 international students now on a yearly basis, we've done a very good job of sort of curbing the spread of this virus, and we feel as though the country's done well. At a provincial level in the province of New Brunswick, I think we've also done very well here. I think the maximum number of cases recorded since the outbreak in New Brunswick is only about 130 or something like that. It's a fairly low number, and it seems to be very well contained. So we're proud of the way that our government is handling the situation, and I think Canadians in particular, we like to see each other work together and the government come together to help us through what is essentially a very difficult time for everybody, regardless of where you are on the planet. It's hard. From the university's perspective, we only operate based on the information that we have and the suggestions that we get from our public health authorities. So as of right now, the suggestion is that only research, in particular research that's related to COVID-19, which UNB has 4 or 5 different laboratories now that are working on things related to this virus. Of course, those researchers are on campus and they're doing their work. But beyond that, it's working from home, and it's fine. So we're proud of the government, we're proud of the country, and we're ready to move to the next step. Like everybody else around the world, we're all ready to move towards the next step.
Thank you, Chris. That was very patriotic, and it's a shame in comparison to the numbers we have. I guess why you and Nousheen are very happy over there. So just going back and echoing to Nousheen, I know a lot of people are going to be reaching out to us. However, we want to make sure that you're aware a qualified and experienced person from Swallow Immigration will be in touch with you to make sure they deal with you on a personal basis, because there was a number of questions in relation to your personal requirements, and those matters are actually better dealt with on an individual level with one-to-one consultation. And I've noticed with Swallow Immigration, they do get in touch with clients smoothly and make sure it's very confidential, which is very important as well. So, and I'm sure Chris is there to support on a number of factors. I just, apologize for the people that couldn't get access to the whole webinar, but we will be in touch, or a member of Nousheen's team will be in touch, because we've just had a huge influx and a number of people couldn't register on time. So apologies, and they will be in touch, because there's so many different time zones. We've had people from Philippines, Manila, Brunei, and apologies if you couldn't get it because of the time zone. But there will be an on-demand available, and a member of Swallow Immigration will be in touch. I don't know if you want to say a final words, Nousheen and Chris, just to wrap it up.
Sure, but before we close the file, there is a question that I guess is important for everybody who is going to start the program in the fall. Chris, they are asking if an applicant start the program on September, like online, but after starting the program, if the study permit application is rejected, what would be the actually consequences? I mean, can they still continue the online program, or if they pay the tuition, can they have any refund? How it works?
That is a good question. In terms of a refund, we're unable to refund tuition once a student has received the credit. So you'd be taking credits from the university, you'd receive the credits. We can't give you money back for credits that have already been received. The plan right now is to have the online delivery format running from this coming fall, so September 2020, until the end of this particular year. That will be reevaluated and readjusted as the situation evolves. And if in the new year we're still in a position where it's difficult or almost impossible for students to arrive at the university, we will of course extend the online learning program to the end of that academic cycle. There isn't a plan right now to have online learning continue for 4 years. We hope that won't be the case. But students who do begin their courses, and let's say that they did or they were rejected from a study permit preventing them from arriving here in Canada at UNB, we would have to deal with those students on a case-by-case basis and see what we can do to help accommodate them in that particular situation.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, I guess that's all for now. Again, thanks for all of you to be here, taking your time. Any questions left, please contact us. Thank you.